Long ago, beyond the tallest mountains and the widest rivers, there was a forest unlike any other. It was called Whisperwood, not because it was quiet, but because it listened. The trees leaned closer when someone spoke, the wind slowed to hear secrets, and the birds remembered everything that ever echoed through the leaves. At the heart of Whisperwood lived a small, golden bird named Lumi. She was not the fastest flyer or the strongest bird in the sky, but she had a rare gift. She could hear the feelings hidden inside every sound. When leaves trembled in fear, she sensed it. When rivers flowed with sadness, she felt it. And when animals laughed, her feathers glowed warm like morning sunlight. Every morning, the forest woke together. Deer stepped softly through the mist. Squirrels leapt between branches, and owls returned home after guarding the night. Lumi flew from tree to tree, greeting the forest as she always had. But one morning, something felt wrong. The forest was too quiet. The rabbits were not laughing. The otters were not splashing. And even the wind felt heavy, as if it were holding its breath. Lumi landed beside the river and listened carefully. What she heard made her heart tighten. Fear was flowing through the forest like a hidden current. From the water rose Maro, the ancient turtle whose shell was etched with time. He looked at Lumi with tired eyes and spoke slowly. He told her that the forest was losing its voice. The animals were forgetting how to listen to one another. They argued, they rushed, and they no longer heard the forest or themselves. Lumi's feathers dimmed as she asked why this was happening now. Maro turned his gaze toward the north, where dark clouds lingered even on bright days. Something had changed, he said, and the forest was quietly asking for help. When dawn arrived, the forest began to heal. The trees straightened, the air grew warm, and the stag's antlers slowly mended. Lumi glowed brighter than ever before, not because she was loud, but because she listened. From that day on, Whisperwood followed a simple rule. Before you speak, listen. Lumi continued to fly through the forest, not as a singer, but as a listener. And if you ever walk through a quiet forest and feel calm without knowing why, it may be because a small golden bird is still there, listening to the world and keeping its heart alive. That night, Lumi flew to the tallest tree and sang her evening song, a melody meant to calm the forest and remind it of peace. But her voice trembled, and the song fell apart. The forest did not respond. For the first time in her life, Lumi felt small. She wondered how she could help if the forest could no longer hear her. From the shadows came a gentle voice. It belonged to Iran, the ancient owl whose wisdom was older than the tallest trees. He told Lumi that help was not always about being loud. The forest did not need another song. It needed someone who would listen and remind others how to do the same. When Lumi said she was only a small bird, Iran smiled and told her that small things change the world quietly. At dawn, Lumi began her journey through Whisperwood. She visited the foxes who were fighting over land and listened without interrupting. She heard not their anger, but their fear of losing what little they had. When she shared this truth, the foxes grew silent and finally heard each other. She flew to the beavers who were angry at the river and listened to both the animals and the flowing water. With gentle words, she helped them understand one another, and the tension slowly faded. Though many voices softened, the forest still felt heavy. At the center of Whisperwood stood a dark clearing that no animal dared to enter. The air there was cold, and the trees bent as if they were tired. In the middle of the clearing stood a great black stag. His antlers cracked and his eyes filled with exhaustion. He was the heart of the forest, and he was breaking. The stag told Lumi that the forest had grown loud but empty, full of noise yet empty of listening. He could no longer hold it together alone. Lumi flew closer and told him she would help, not by singing, but by listening. That night, Lumi asked the forest for silence. The animals gathered together, birds and wolves, deer and insects, even the wind itself. In the quiet, they heard what they had forgotten, the roots shifting beneath the soil, the rivers breathing, and the steady heartbeat of Whisperwood. Some animals cried, and some bowed their heads, remembering their place in the forest.